Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's Mike here at Game From Scratch with yet another game development related Humble Bundle. Well, sorta. This is on the edge of game development, but it's also an area where I think many of us could definitely use some improvement, and an area where I don't cover that much on this channel, and that is the topic of writing. Now, a long time ago I said, if a bundle is relevant to game development, I'll pick it up, let you know if it is worth you buying. And that's exactly what I have done with this bundle. Now, if you're not aware, the way Humble Bundle works is it's a collection of stuff, in this case, ebooks, around a common theme. Now, you can decide how your money is allocated. You can have some of it go to Humble, some go to the original publishers, some go to charities, which we will discuss in a second, and you can have some of it go to support this channel, by the way. And if you select that, thank you so very much. So what is the a writer bundle all about? Well, this is a collection of books by Adams Media. I have no prior experience with them in the past, so I can't really give you an opinion there. And it's on a plethora of topics about writing in general. Now, I've actually published a book, and I'm working on another one, plus I do a number of tutorials, and I know beyond what Grammarly does automatically for me, I really do need to improve my writing ability. So this is a boon for me. Now, there's a pretty wide topic of books covered at different price tiers. Now, the way it works is if you buy a tier, you get all the books at that tier. If you buy a lower or a more expensive tier, you get all the books at that tier and the above tier. So if you buy at the $8 tier, you get all the $8 books and the $1 books. And like I mentioned earlier on, there are an absolute ton of books in this bundle. So let's take a look at what they are. So at the $1 tier, you get Script Tease, The Tao of Writing, Write 10 Days to Overcome Writer's Block, period. Grammar Sucks, What to Do to Make Your Writing Much More Better. Screenwriting, Cup of Comfort for Writers, The Everything Guide to Writing a Book Proposal, The Everything Guide to Writing Nonfiction, and A Writer's Space. So pretty good selection of books there for $1. Now, of course, these are ebooks and not physical copies. I guess I should point that out at this point in time. Now, next up, if you jump up to the $8 tier, you, of course, get all of the books at the $1 tier, as well as The Call of the Writer's Crafts, the Everything Creative Writing book, the Everything Guide to Writing Children's Books, Write That Book Already, the Everything Improving Your Writing book, or Improve Your Writing book, and Screenwriting in the Land of Oz. And then at the $15 tier, you get the book that I used for the title image, the Guide to Writing Fantasy and Science Fiction. You get The Plot Whisperer, Secrets of Story Structure Any Writer Can Master, The 1 Minute Writer, The Only Grammar Book You Will Ever Need, The Plot Whisperer Book of Writing Prompts, Hire Me Hollywood, Your Behind-the-Scene Guide to the Most Exciting and Unexpected Jobs in Showbiz, The 101 Habits of the Highly Successful Novelists, Screenwriters, Second Edition, 1001 Letters for All Occasions, and The Everything Guide to Comedy Writing, and finally, The Everything Guide to Writing Your First Novel. So if you are looking for any books on any subject around writing, there is a ton here. Stuff on fantasy and science fiction, stuff on writing novels, stuff on motivating you to write a novel, stuff here on grammar and proper structure. A pretty good collection across the board there. Now, I mentioned earlier on, there are a couple of charities. The two that are set up to work with this one are the NCAC, the National Coalition Against Censorship, and First Book. If you want to learn more, you can click on them. You also have a number of other charities you could support as well. So if you are a budding writer, or you're interested in learning more about writing, or you want to improve your writing style, this is a pretty good opportunity. That is a whole lot of books for 15 bucks. But of course, it's only really valuable if those books are actually of value, and we're going to check that out in just one second. So for example, the Writing Guide to Fiction we will check out, but first I'm going to show you, like I said, I've purchased this bundle, and here is what you get. So when you have an ongoing library that's stored on Humble's server, you can automatically send it over to your Kindle, but in terms of ebook formats that this one comes in, the great news is it comes in all of them. So you get PDF, EPUB, and Mobi versions. Now you can download these at your whim from the Humble Bundle site. It is persistent. It's not like a one and done thing. So they are stored on their servers, and you can come back and get them at any time. So here you can see the all of the different books. Every single one of them is available in PDF, EPUB, and Mobi. So pretty much, if you're using a Kindle, or if you're using a phone, or you're using one of those other ones out there that I always forget the name of, you are covered. Every single ebook format is available here. And of course, you get them in PDF. So here it is running in the browser. This is the PDF version of the Guide to Writing Fantasy and Science Fiction. Gives you an idea of how the ebooks look. If you go with the PDF version, here is your table of contents. It's specific to this book. And the nice thing is, this foreword on this actual book is by R.A. Salvatore, the guy behind all the Drizzt series of books. You probably heard of him. But yeah, I kind of focused on this book because I got a feeling a fair number of you are probably most interested in like the fantasy and science fiction genre. So that is maybe the book that are you of interest with. And as I mentioned earlier on, these bundles only really make sense if there is a book in there and the value is good. What I can tell you is this version is exactly the version that you would get right now if you were to buy it on Amazon, and it is $15 for that one book in ebook form. So if there is a single book on that list that appeals to you in any way, shape, or form, it's probably a worthwhile deal for you, especially at the dollar tier. If there's a single book at the dollar tier, just buy the dollar tier for sure. Like that's a huge deal, because especially you don't normally get this many items, 9 books at the dollar tier, and a lot of times it's really short or small things. In this case, these are full-on books, and I definitely have heard of this one before. By the way, if you're interested in learning more about any one of these titles in specific, go ahead and click here, and it will actually give you a bit more detail on the book, as well as preview chapters in PDF format. If you're interested in a little bit more about the books, like as I said, I've bought them all. I can't give you much of a review. I can't read all of these books instantly, obviously, but if there's a specific question you have, and I do have access to all of these books, so I will do my best to answer them. Now, again, the writing topic is a bit niche for the world of game development. It's not something that is covered very often. There's not a lot of tools, although I do need to do a roundup of writer tools in the future. Spoiler alert, I use Scrivener. But there are a number of softwares out there for writing, not necessarily specific to game development, but this is an aspect of game development that is kind of probably under-focused on, especially on this channel. So this is kind of a fill in the blanks there. And as I mentioned earlier on, I need to improve my own professional writing style, so this was a no-brainer for me. Even if I didn't cover them, I would be picking up this bundle. Okay, that is it for now. Do you have any interest in writing? If so, is there a specific topic here? Now, I would love to have seen a book specifically about writing for games, but I think those are about as rare as unicorns right now, even though there should probably be more and more, because you've got a different branching dialogue, but that's more of a designer issue than a writer issue. A writer just writes and writes and writes. So the topics you see here, like the plot whisperer or science fiction writing in general, that would apply to any kind of game. So I guess you don't really need game-specific books, but if you do have one to recommend, also let me know. Comments down below. And that's it for now. I will talk to you all later. Goodbye.